RBT family, what is the deal? It is your dog Willie Jack, and we are back, baby. We are back. It's been a little bit, man. Feel like it's been a little bit. I know it's been a couple weeks. Um, after the draft, the NFL season slows way down. I'm still gonna get into some draft content. But man, this is a beautiful time to be a boxing fan. We had an epic, glorious, magnanimous, whatever words or expletives we want to use to describe it. Man, we had an awesome Lineal Undisputed heavyweight championship fight that occurred this weekend between Alexander Usyk and Tyson the Gypsy King Fury, and definitely a fight that had quite a bit of build up, several delays, and then also seeing kind of Tyson Fury the last time we had seen him in a ring against Francis Ngannou, for whatever that's worth. Definitely wasn't his best showing. Definitely a fight or a situation he didn't take seriously and wasn't overly impressive in that, getting dropped in that fight before, eking out what some people feel was a controversial decision. And so we didn't know what Tyson Fury we were going to get. And man, he showed up, man, in excellent shape, excellent form, lean, mean fight machine. Definitely did. Usyk, intense, laser focused as always. And it was definitely a fight that lived up to the hype, man. And so tremendous fight. Shout out to some of the members in the building already, man. Sis and bro, man, in the building, man. Appreciate y'all. Appreciate y'all. Matter of fact, let me go ahead and put it there so I ain't got to worry about it. But nah, man, it was an excellent fight. And so definitely wanted to get on here and talk about it. And you know what? I'll tell you the truth as well, man. One of them members, shout out to my dog K-Rod, man. Shout out to Keandre. He hit me up. Was like, hey, man, what you think about that Usyk fight, man? When's the live? I'm like, man, you know what, man? It's about that time, big dog. And so here we are. Here we are, no doubt. And so without further ado, man, yeah, definitely want to get into it. I see we got a couple of members in here chilling with your dog. Shout out to my dog Lamont, man. Shout out to my dog, my little sis Kiara for sure. Appreciate you. Oh, he said love the intro. Yeah, I appreciate you. And you know I appreciate you. Yeah, man. Trust me when I tell you, it probably took me 9 hours to do them little 90 seconds of intro. Yeah, my dog Logan said he like cock ready to rock, man. I appreciate you, big dog. You know that already. But yeah, and then give me 1 second. I was trying to pull something up for us. That's what gave me a little delay. I was like, it was a minute or so behind. I was trying to get something pulled up, get something queued up for us while we get into this fight. But then the rest of y'all in the viewing, I see y'all. Don't be shy now. Don't be shy now, man. Say what's up to me. Talk to me. You know I talk back. And give me 1 minute. Let me see here. Okay, yeah, it ain't loaded up yet. I was trying to get something to load up for us, little clip, but we gonna rock and roll, man. Y'all know how we do. So first things first, I'll just go ahead and dive right into it, man. Some of my initial thoughts on the fight. So for one, like I said, awesome fight. Like I said, I was very pleasantly surprised with just the course of the fight, or not pleasantly surprised. I was worried that maybe it'd be a little bit of a dud. Like I said, I wasn't sure what we were going to get from Tyson Fury. And then, like I said, I just wasn't sure if it was going to be everything I wanted it to be such a huge fight. So the reason why this is so historic is this is the first time we've had an undisputed heavyweight champion of the world since Lennox Lewis did it over 25 years ago. And then since then, there hasn't been an undisputed champion at the heavyweight division. And so that's, like I said, we were past 25 years. I want to say it was right around 25 years. And so this is a very big moment in boxing for sure. And so after Lennox Lewis, who was probably the last of that kind of golden era, there's been, let's say if there's a couple, bright spots in the heavyweight division, but let's say the 90s had a nice resurgence of the heavyweight division, probably one that hadn't been seen since the 70s, which is probably going to be the ultimate golden era where we had Ali and Foreman and Frazier and top flight contenders back then as well. Guys like Lyle and Shavers and Larry Holmes comes along in that time, comes along as well, kind of takes that mantle from Ali. So once we got Ken Norton, I don't want to leave him out. He got some championship gold around his waist as well. So once we left that time frame, the 80s, there is a little bit of a lull, let's say, until we get to the end of the 80s, the backside of the 80s. You know what I'm saying? 88, where they do it most great. You feel me? But until we get towards the back half of the 80s, and then that's where we get a very young, a very talented, a very determined and ferocious Iron Mike Tyson, who comes in and sets the heavyweight division on fire, and he kind of ushers us into the 90s. And then from there we get, Tyson takes us into the 90s, and then we also get, of course, the emergence of Evander Holyfield. Why he's significant is because he's a guy that, like Usyk, he came from cruiserweight, where he was a undisputed cruiserweight champion, and then moved up to heavyweight. And then, of course, we all know, we all should know the history of Evander Holyfield. He also became heavyweight champion of the world, moving up from cruiserweight. And so we get Evander Holyfield. We have Mike Tyson, like I said. Lennox Lewis is in this time frame. Riddick Bowe, very talented fighter, who burned bright and kind of faded and fizzled a little quicker than we probably would have wanted given his talent. But Riddick Bowe's in this time frame as well. Razor Ruddock, a couple other guys that were some pretty decent contenders there, but definitely the three kind of kings of that era being Lennox Lewis, Evander Holyfield, and of course Iron Mike Tyson. And so once that gets us to the 90s, and then that takes us through the 90s until the early 2000s. And the last man and then also I can't forget the resurgence, the second half of the career of George Foreman, who also regained heavyweight championship status in the 90s from his, regaining that title from his epic defeat at the hands of Muhammad Ali in the Rumble in the Jungle, for sure. So 90s was a very interesting time in the heavyweight division. Takes us up into the early 2000s, where the last guy standing out of all those guys named or listed was Lennox Lewis. And then, of course, Lennox Lewis being the last of that kind of second golden era, or more recently that second golden era, he retires after a very tough, very hard fought TKO victory. There was a bad cut against one of the Klitschko brothers. Was it Vladimir or Vitaly? I can't even remember which one at right now, but we get that's Lennox Lewis's exodus. And so a fight that was super tough for Lewis. Honestly, it could have went either way. Like there's people who feel like maybe Klitschko may have had the edge in the fight at that time, but he had a brutal cut, and Lennox, of course, was able to get that stoppage because of the grisly cut that Klitschko sustained. I don't want to make it seem like Klitschko was just running away or walking off on Lennox Lewis, but it was definitely a very hard fought fight. And rather than, I guess, run that back or have the rematch, that ended up being Lennox Lewis's last fight before he retires. And so I want to say this is 2001, 2003. I want to say somewhere in there. And then, of course, this started my least favorite time of the heavyweights, the Klitschko reign. I hated those guys. Or excuse me, I was not a fan of them, of their boxing style. I could not stand Klitschko. It was super boring. He was super big, super robotic, super stiff. There was tons of, he was, I guess we can say he was tactical, because there was a lot of, he used his reach tremendously, a lot of holding in some of his fights, I always felt like, and just, I just was not a fan of the Klitschko reign. And Klitschko reign now. Klitschko was the face of the heavyweight division for a decade, a decade or more, the better part of a decade, essentially. And I'm trying to think here who else would have been, relevant, worth talking about now during this time, honestly. But nobody's coming to mind off the top of my head, honestly. This is also the time where we get guys like David Haye and John Ruiz, Roy Jones Jr., the GOAT. You know what I mean? My personal favorite boxer of all times, Roy Jones Jr., during this time frame as well. He climbs, he becomes a heavyweight champion of the world, climbing up from was it either middleweight or super middle? I want to say middleweight. I think Roy maybe had his first fight or maybe his first couple fights at 160 at middleweight before going to 168. And then eventually, of course, 175, where he probably kind of settled in for a good bulk of his career and his dominant career as a pound for pound king. But he goes up to heavyweight, defeats John Ruiz, becomes a heavyweight champion. I think the only fighter to ever start as a middleweight and then climb all the way up to heavyweight and become a champion. So we have this going on during this time as well. And honestly, I mean, it's pretty dry, man. We have a very young Tyson Fury is peeking around or is kind of poking around at this time as well. And then, of course, Tyson Fury being the guy who eventually dethrones, I guess, Klitschko and becomes a champion. And so now at this time, there was rumblings or discussions about Deontay Wilder and Klitschko, or excuse me, and Tyson Fury fighting or maybe getting together for a fight. This is also, I guess, where we get introduced to a young Deontay Wilder. Now we're up to like the 2010s, like this early 2010s period, right? As far as our timeline is going. And so we've got Tyson Fury, we've got Deontay Wilder, we've got King Kong Ortiz, who's still out and about, and he's still fighting now today. Man, who else? The Nigerian Nightmare, Samuel Peters. These guys all kind of start popping up here, but Klitschko's kind of the guy, is definitely the guy on top. He loses to Tyson Fury. And then Tyson Fury, it's no secret, he's talked about it in his comeback. He leaves boxing. I mean, he didn't necessarily retire, but he went through an extreme bout of depression, one of those type of things. And he's talked about it. So I won't get too deep into it, but he's talked about how, like, once he reached the mountaintop, he just felt so unfulfilled. He slipped into a very deep depression, went on a years-long drinking and drug binge, that type of thing. His weight ballooned out of shape. I think they were saying that, and Tyson Fury is a huge human. He's 6'8", 6'9", and I think he fights anywhere between 260. No, probably closer to no. I think last night he was on Saturday. I want to say he was in the mid 260s. I want to say I think he was under 270. So it was extremely lean. But he fights anywhere from, let's say, 260s up to like 285 or so. He was damn near 300 pounds in some of those fights against Wilder, and so he leaves the sport, gets up to 400 pounds. He's gone for several years. Deontay Wilder kind of comes in, and then so there's not really any marquee names, I guess, especially in those early days in which he's fighting. But he's exciting again. He's a guy that brings back. He's the guy that brought back that. And this is I'm not at all. I know sometimes y'all be trying to reach a little bit. I'm not saying he's Mike Tyson. I'm not saying that, but he was the guy that brought back kind of that Tyson-esque style of knockout power. And so those one hitter quitter shots, those one hitter quitter putting boys down shots. And so Wilder builds a decent buzz there. We get Tyson Fury now a few years removed from being champion, stepping away from the game. He announces he's coming back. He calls out Wilder, and then we get the Fury Wilder 1. And then, I mean, that was I don't want to say it was a tremendously entertaining fight, but there were some super tremendous moments in that fight for sure. Wilder had a hard time dealing with Tyson Fury's awkwardness, his movement, his speed and footwork, especially to be such a big guy. You know what I mean? And so he couldn't really ever kind of find his range all night. It feels like the only two times he really caught Tyson clean, he put him down both times in that fight. And this was the first time we'd seen somebody get up from getting hit when caught flush by Deontay Wilder. And I still think that is still probably one of the most impressive displays of chin, heart, whatever you want to call it. Tyson Fury getting off the canvas from that knockdown against Wilder in their first fight. Because we forget, Wilder caught him with one, and Fury's going down, all 6'9" of his big ass. He's already going down. Wilder catches him again on the way down with a little short, choppy, I want to say, left hook on the way down, and it connects. It lands flush as well and changes the trajectory of Tyson Fury as he's falling to the mat. So the boy got tagged, legitimately. You know what I'm saying? And so Now there was some controversy. Was it a late? Was it a slow count? Should it have been 10? Wilder addressed that, and then I've seen clips where someone started a clock, and I've seen the count go as high as maybe like 14 or so, depending. They say I think the referee didn't pick up the count correctly. He picked up the count instead of starting at, like, let's say 3. He started at 1, or, whatever. It is what it is. But he gets up, he holds on. That fight actually ends up being ruled a draw because of the scoring with the knockdowns for sure. They run it back, and in the rematch, Tyson Fury completely changes track. Like, I don't need to be lean and quick and fast with Wilder. No, I need to bully him. I can let me put some of this big boy weight on and go out there and just be the bigger guy and wear him down. Wilder, while he's also like 6'7", he's almost as tall as Tyson Fury. The boy's 210 pounds, literally. I think he was 212 he was 212, and I don't know if it was their last one or if it was that first one. But 6'7", 212 is a starting small. No, you might not even be. You're a small forward in the league in the NBA at 6'7", 212. 6'7", 212 is Kobe Bryant size. He's a 2 guard. Deontay Wilder is Kobe Bryant size. This is what we have to remember when we talk about Deontay Wilder. He's not a big guy. He's a tall guy. He's not a big guy. You know what I mean? And so Tyson Fury, I think, outweighed him by a comfortable 60 pounds in that second fight and laid on him all night, really wore him down. And honestly, really it was a completely different fight from that first one. And he just imposed his power and will on him. And man, he had some brutal knockdowns of Wilder in return in that second one. It was very decisive. And honestly, a lot of people didn't think we even needed to see a third fight. This Tyson Fury and Anthony Joshua were finally gonna bump it. Oh, and you know what? Because I'm crazy as hell, I completely left out Anthony Joshua when I got into the 2010s. Because Tyson Fury definitely did beat Klitschko, then he left. Klitschko regains the title, and then Anthony Joshua beats Klitschko and takes over the other 3 major belts, and Deontay Wilder, of course, being the WBC champion. But anywho, and so they're finally in talks to fight. This is Fury and Joshua now, but Deontay Wilder takes him to court. It's like, hold on, there was a rematch clause or whatever the case, or he goes to court. It's upheld. Tyson Fury does have to give him a rematch, so now a third match here now, and not a lot of people didn't want that third one, but that third one ended up probably being, I would say, probably the most entertaining one, because in that one, I think they both kind of gave almost as much as they got, and then of course, man, Deontay Wilder is a warrior. If you watch him in these fights as well, because man, he takes some punishment, he takes some shots, and man, he keeps getting up. I mean, he really gives everything he's got, and he did that in this one as well. Came up short, and so Tyson Fury ends up winning that series, a draw in the first one, and then two victories, and so boom. Now, while this is going on, we've got Alexander Usyk. So Olympic gold medalist, back in like 2012 or so, he's in the cruiserweight division. Around this time, he's unified that cruiserweight division. He's moved up to heavyweight. He's making some noise. And then while this is working out, he faces Anthony Joshua and defeats Anthony Joshua in an upset. And so especially with Joshua, Wilder, and Tyson Fury, these are super-sized heavyweights. All these guys, I think the shortest of those guys is Anthony Joshua. He's 6'6", and Wilder's 6'7", Tyson Fury's 6'9". And so these guys, and I guess maybe we could say it's kind of, maybe it started with the Klitschko brothers, who were both, I want to say, 6'6" as well. And so we usher in this kind of era of these oversized heavyweights. And so then we've got Alexander Usyk, who we think of him, or at least maybe it's me, or I want to speak for everybody, but a lot of times we think of him as a smaller fighter. He's 6'3", but we forget, like, that's traditional heavyweight size. He's 6'3". I think he was 223 pounds when he fought Tyson Fury on Saturday. And so that's a little heavier, but that's roughly the size of Muhammad Ali. Muhammad Ali's size in a lot of his fights was 6'3", roughly like 215. So Ali fought a lot of times somewhere between young Ali was probably closer to 212, 215, and then older Ali was probably somewhere closer to 218. I don't know how many times he often fought, especially, you know what I'm saying, like in his true prime, you know what I'm saying? I don't know how many times he fought above 220 pounds. You know what I mean? So prime Ali is like 6'3", 218. And so we got Alexander Usyk, 6'3", 223. Like he's Ali size. But he feels like he's small, like an undersized guy. He's bigger than Holyfield. Holyfield also came up from cruiserweight to fight heavyweight as well. Usyk's bigger than Holyfield. I want to say he's probably just an inch taller. They probably weigh about the same. But yeah, so he's about Holyfield height, Ali height. So he's traditional heavyweight size, and we forget that. And we still kind of look at him as a smaller guy, relatively so a smaller guy moving up. And so he beats Joshua, and honestly, it was an excellent performance. Just outclassed him. His movement was too great. He's got excellent. He's got an excellent like off pace kind of. I don't want to. He's got a slight awkwardness to him, and I think his pace is just. It's almost a little like a beat off. It's like offbeat a little bit, and so in boxing, if you ever boxed or sparred or you know what I'm saying, or whatever the case is, then you'll kind of know if you've ever sparred or whatever. Like you almost kind of settle into like a rhythm, some sort of rhythm almost, like in the you know what I'm saying when you're boxing, when you're sparring. And so Usyk is a guy that he's just kind of his natural state of flow or bounce is just kind of it's like a step off of what I feel is traditional. At least that's what I feel. That's what I feel like I see when I'm watching them. And so anyway, gets a tremendous upset over Anthony Joshua, becomes a 3-belt champion, because I think the remaining belt, the WBC belt, is the belt that Fury had won from Wilder, and that's the one he had been holding on to. Joshua had those other 3, and so now Usyk is the unified 3-belt champion, but he's not the lineal champion. The lineal champion, if we just count it back from Joe Louis up, you know what I mean? From Joe Louis to Rocky Marciano, then he retires, you know what I mean? And then we have to start a new lineage, I guess, of heavyweight champions, right? So we just talk about the guy who beat the guy who beat the guy who beat the guy. If we're going in order like this, after the lineage gets kind of broken or disturbed from Rocky Marciano retiring 49-0, undefeated, then we get guys like this is the 50s now. We get guys like Ezzard Charles and Archie Moore's in this time, and a lot of these other names. Anywho, so. And then also from Lennox Lewis retiring. Once Lennox Lewis retires, I think Klitschko comes in. Klitschko loses to Tyson Fury, and then Tyson Fury left. And so now Klitschko comes back or gets the title again, and we get Anthony Joshua defeating Klitschko, but Klitschko had already lost to Tyson Fury. So nobody had beat Tyson Fury since taking over as lineal champion. Just going back in order, the guy who beat the guy who beat the guy, right? Because he came back, he won against Wilder twice, had an exhibition with Usyk. He had a couple fights with just guys, Otto Whalen and a couple of these characters, these no-name guys that who don't really tip the scale, but he hadn't been beat yet. So he's still the lineal heavyweight champion as well. Now this lineal title, it doesn't come with a belt, but it means something because a lot of people feel like this is the thing. This is how important the lineal heavyweight championship is. Oh, hold on. Some more of the members that dropped in the building, man. I see y'all, man. Shout out to my dog Fee, man. What's the word, man? What's going on? And my dog K-Rock in this thing, man. My dog Day One Game Jarrell. Y'all know what's going on. Oh, man. Y'all crazy. Hey, man. We got my boy Chop in this thing as well. Hey, Chop, man, go ahead, buckle up, man. You know what I'm saying? It's my second son, man. Boxing, you might learn a thing or two tonight. Boy, I just had to give the folks a little, we talk a little history. You know what I'm saying? I went through the lineage. You know what I'm saying? Kind of explaining where we are today and why this weekend was so instrumental or so historic, just going over like, man, some of the just the history of this heavyweight title and the way it passed through. And so where I was at now is explaining the significance of being recognized as the lineal heavyweight champion. So the guy who beat the guy who beat the guy who beat the guy. Tyson Fury still had that. Even though he stepped away, he came back, you know what I'm saying? So he still had that. And the reason that's significant is because a lot of us forget, and even in history, it feels like we forget. It feels like Mike Tyson became heavyweight champion of the world when he starched Michael Spinks And man, shout out to my dog Chop. St. Louis's own Michael Spinks was scared as straight, boy. He was scared as hell. And it felt like the first time Tyson touched him, he went down. And the boy was on the moon. I mean, it was legit. Like he didn't take a dive. He got caught one time. That's all he needed, boy. And he laid there for 20 seconds until he finally got up. But Tyson became lineal heavyweight champion once he defeated Michael Spinks, because Michael Spinks had defeated. Did Michael Spinks get his title? I think Michael Spinks got his title from Larry Holmes, if I believe. Larry Holmes took the lineal championship from Ali. Then Larry Holmes had a very long run, very long and underrated run as a fighter. And Larry Holmes, he gets a lot of hate and doesn't necessarily get a lot of the love that maybe his talent and his career deserves, because for one, he came up under Ali. He was a sparring partner of Ali for years. His style was it wasn't the same, but it was kind of similar. He was a more finesse and tactical fighter than brute strength or power. And that's kind of was introduced also. I feel like that was introduced by Ali, because before Ali, we had Sonny Liston was the guy on top of the mountain. You know what I mean? The Tyson of his day. And so Ali comes in, he's lean. He's not a big hulking figure, you know what I'm saying? And he's moving, he's dancing. He's got speed. His hand speed's great. He's got hand speed and foot speed like a middleweight, but he's a heavyweight. So Ali introduced us to that. And then Larry Holmes, kind of being a protege of Ali, his style brought a lot of Ali with it. So his footwork, his movement in the ring, and probably if not the best jab, the greatest jab in history of sport, Larry Holmes is a top 3 jab in the history of boxing. Larry Holmes, Sonny Liston as well, who we were just talking about, even though he was a hulking, power, intimidating, heavy-handed guy, he also had his may be the greatest jab in history of sport. But I don't want to get y'all. I don't know if y'all go back that far. But I'm just saying, Larry Holmes had a tremendous career and a tremendous jab. Anywho, I believe it was Michael Spinks who actually took the lineal championship from Larry Holmes. Michael Spinks is also a guy who came up from, I think, light heavyweight and then became heavyweight champion, defeating Larry Holmes. And so anyway, I say all that to say Tyson wasn't recognized as the lineal champion until this match happened. And also, it feels like when we talk about Tyson's championship run, because Tyson was a champion in that fight. This is what we forget. I want to say he was a unified champion. I think he was he the WBC and WBA? Because the WB, which one of them was the WB? I think the WBO is the youngest of the 4 belts, I want to say. And so it wasn't recognized as like a major sanctioning body until maybe 10 years ago. Because for a long time, you could be the unified champ with just 3 of those belts. The WBC, WBA, those are the 2 oldest. And then I think IBF came along. And then WBO, I think, came last. And then it took a while before they were accepted as like a first tier championship caliber of fight. So anyway, Tyson, I want to say, had 2 of those belts already. But we look at his defeat of Michael Spinks as when he became that was the birth of Iron Mike Tyson. You know what I mean? Like he was still Mike Tyson. He was what they call Mike Tyson, man? What they call young Mike Tyson? If y'all know, man, let me know, man. Before they called him Kid Dynamite, and he had another name as well, man. But Iron Mike Tyson was born when he put Michael Spinks to sleep in about 90 seconds, man. He became lineal heavyweight champion. So I say all that to say that this being not only a fight for, it's the lineal undisputed heavyweight championship of the world. That's the fight we just saw Saturday. So I just took 30 minutes going through a whole history. You know what I'm saying? If y'all didn't know boxing before this 30 minutes ago, now y'all just learned something, man. Because we started with Joe Louis in the 30s, and we ended up now Saturday night with Tyson Fury, lineal heavyweight champion, WBC champion, versus Alexander Usyk, 3-belt unified champion. And so that's where we are right now, man. So we can get into it. But let me catch up on my chat, man. I see them members in the building. What my dog Chop said. So he was champ for a while. He bullied Ali when he was done. Yeah, man, that's the thing, man. Like it just seeing Larry put his hands on Ali, just, you know what I'm saying? It was like watching somebody just beat up everybody's hero. It's like, come on, man, everybody loves us. How can you do this to Ali? How can you do this? You know, how can you do this to us? And so, man, Larry Holmes was not at all as popular as maybe he should. He didn't have the same style of just charisma, man. I mean, Ali was really a one of one, man, especially at this time. And so then we see the showmanship in boxing now. That's the showmanship that's just commonplace and regular for boxing now. This was started with Ali. Before Ali, like I said, the champ and the scariest guy on the planet was Sonny Liston. Like I said, he was the Mike Tyson of his time. You know what I mean? Like, and he was just, man, he just always was just, man, looked like he got a pistol in, man, look, pistol always in reach. Like, man, he ain't gonna play no game. He ain't gonna say two words to you. Very quiet, buttoned up guy. You know what I mean? And so, just champions were just, it was on, I don't want to say groomed, but there was no true personality in the sport or in the heavyweight division at that time until Ali. Because before Sonny Liston, we had the great Joe Louis, and also a guy just extremely buttoned up, very quiet, did all his talking in the ring, short, curt answers if you ask him a question, professional. We had that. Joe Louis reigned for 12 years. 25 title defenses, I want to say. I think that's still a record. You know what I'm saying? And just completely dominated his era. And then, like I said, there's some guys, but Ali came in and was a lightning bug, man. You know what I'm saying? Just completely destroyed everything. Oh, hey, my dog K-Rock, he said Floyd. Hey, Floyd Patterson was in it. And you know what's funny? Floyd Patterson is the first champion to use that peekaboo style that Mike Tyson made it famous, I guess, for us in our generation, people born, in the, let's say in the 80s upward, because the first time we had seen that kind of style of fighting was Mike Tyson from his trainer Customato. Well, Customato's first heavyweight champion was Floyd Patterson, who was also I'm not gonna call him undersized, because at this time we didn't have like the supersized heavyweights like we see now. You know what I mean? So, but I think Floyd Patterson is probably, I want to say he's probably 6'1", maybe 2. He wasn't a big guy, but had that style for sure, or at least that fighting style that we saw that was made, I guess, that's been popularized for us lately here was Mike Tyson. But yeah, Customato was definitely Floyd Patterson's trainer, and he had that style. And you know what? Floyd Patterson was the guy that Sonny Liston won the championship from. Matter of fact. My dog K-Rock said he was 212. Okay, yeah, I was going to say somewhere in there, man, because he wasn't an overly heavy guy. And I want to say he was about 6'1". But yeah, so Floyd Patterson was definitely champ. And he was a very young champ as well, which is also something that him and Tyson have in common. In addition to being trained by, the great Customato, they both became champ early. And matter of fact, I think when Floyd Patterson became heavyweight champion, he set the record for youngest champion at that time. And then Mike Tyson broke Floyd Patterson's record for being as young as he was to be the heavyweight champion. I want to say Tyson, man, this is crazy. I think Tyson was 20 years old when he first became heavyweight champion. 20, maybe 21, maybe he was a fresh 21. And so we got to let that sink in, man. The boy might not have been able to drink yet, and was either the heavyweight champion of the world, the baddest man on the planet, all these names and accolades before he could buy his own drinks legally, or maybe he just was able to start buying drinks, and this is the guy who's sitting at the very top of the mountain. Man, that's just crazy. But let me see, man. Let me see if I can catch up. My dog Chop said 19. Was he 19, dog? Man, I was gonna say 20. Because that just sounds crazy. You know what I'm saying? It just sounds crazy to think about. Man, that's nuts, man. Yeah, I think you're right, Chop. He was born in 60. Tyson was born in 66. So at 19, that would be what, 85? I think he fought Spinks, I want to say in 87, 88. Because he was already champion, he fought Spinks, but he became Lineal champion. And it feels like that's what kind of solidified his championship run. 175. Oh, it's a good comment from my dog K-Rock. Man said the NAACP didn't want Sonny Liston to fight Floyd. He's talking about Floyd Patterson because of Sonny's image. And so that's actually a good point, man, because and also that kind of goes back to what I was talking about in a different way. That still goes back to what I was talking about with Muhammad Ali and his personality and charisma and the way he handled himself in the press and in the ring, because guys were buttoned up. This is also, just like my dog reminded us, this is the civil rights era. You know what I'm saying? Like, Joe Louis was the champion of the world in prime Jim Crow era. You know what I'm saying? Or not? This man, this was it still? Was it the? No, we passed Reconstruction. This was the heart of Jim Crow era. This is the heart of segregation. You know what I mean? And so, of course, he was the first black champion that we had since Jack Johnson. So Jack Johnson, do your Googles. You know what I'm saying? Y'all do y'all Googles. Jack Johnson, of course, being the first black heavyweight champion of all time, and so he was a wild card. He was a wild card. He was a guy. He wasn't going to just sit in the box. He wasn't going to be the buttoned up guy that white America wanted him to be, quiet, humble, and respectful. He was going to be wild. He was going to go out drinking. He was going to sleep with white women and do everything he wanted to do. But nobody could beat him in his time. Then once he does lose his title or lose his belt, whatever happens, and then we don't have another black champion until we get Joe Louis in the 30s, just like my dog K Rock said, man. In the 30s, World War II time frame, or no, World War II is what the. Now, World War II is in the, well, he was champion during then as well. He became champion in the 30s. And then, of course, he reigned until the World War II era for sure. Oh, Richard Hutchinson, man, I don't recognize your name, but welcome, big dog. I appreciate you said to give a breakdown of Usyk Fury round by round. Hey, man, hey, I got you. I damn sure can do that. I damn sure can do that, man. Yeah, if we ready to get into it, like I said, man, we did a lot of history talking right here, man. Oh, man, you know what, real quick, I'm going to get it. You know what, we're going to jump right into that as well. It's another comment I missed as well. John Travis, what's going on, bro? Welcome, man. Get yourself real comfortable. John Travis says, Usyk is a charismatic fighter, blessed with psychosis, eye contact. Oh, yeah, man. Hey, he's got one of them. Yeah, he ain't lost a staring contest since second grade, man. Usyk ain't lost, and he might be undefeated since second grade. Yeah, damn, I believe you there. Because Tyson Fury said, "Screw it, I'm not even gonna look. I'm not even gonna stare in this man's eyes at the final press conference." Tyson Fury refused to even look at him, and still, man, Usyk is sitting there staring right through his neck into Tyson Fury's soul. So yeah, definitely that psychosis, eye contact. He's skilled, great footwork, timing, throwing volume punches, fluidity in his movements, and endurance, durability. He's the man of honor. Man, that is an excellent description of Alexander Usyk. No doubt. I like that. Now, hey, you know what, John Travis? Since you broke down Alexander Usyk so eloquently for us, and we're about to get into the Usyk Fury fight and break it down, give me a description of Fury. How do you see Fury? Because I like everything you said there for Usyk, man, and I agree with a lot of it. And I'm trying to think if there's anything I don't necessarily agree with. And honestly, I really can't. Now, okay, charismatic. I don't know if I would describe him as charismatic, because I think that lends more to boisterous personality when you say charismatic. But as far as everything else you've said, man, I agree with damn near all of that. I definitely do, man. That's a great breakdown. John Travis, man, let me see you break down Tyson Fury for us as well, man. I like what you did there. Okay, my dog Chalk came back, said he was 20. I was about to say, man, I was like, damn, man, 19. That's 20's crazy. But man, the boy's still a teenager. Like, man, thank God he was 20. Yeah, Trevor Burbick. There you go. Yep. And then they made the man act for Jack Johnson. Yeah, no doubt. Richard Hutchinson said Usyk is a likable person in the I think he's saying Usyk is the most likable, or one of the more likable fighters in boxing. And no, I'd agree, man. I think so. Especially he's super respectful, he's super humble, he's a family man, he's a man of faith, you know what I mean? And he's about that action, boss. You know what I mean? Like he's not one of these guys that's with all the kind of crazy antics. He does have that death stare, like our dog John Travis just told us as well, man. So he's definitely got that. And then man, he is, I think, a guy that I think everybody respects him. Like Tyson Fury rubs people the wrong way. People don't always like his antics or whatever the case, or his personality maybe runs people the wrong way. Wilder the same way. Joshua, you know what I mean? People are back up and down on Joshua for whatever reason. But Usyk, I think I agree with that. I think Usyk is more so universally respected by just about everybody, man. I'd be hard pressed to find somebody who I think you'd be hard pressed to find somebody who just isn't a fan of Usyk as a man in general. And so, man, without further ado, like I said, man, our dog Richard Hutchinson said, "Man, let's go ahead and break this Usyk and Fury fight down round by round." And you know I will. So when I'm watching these fights, I generally I score them live, and so when I watch fights, if I'm not, saying with my dogs or something like that, if I'm just at the crib, I turn the TV down, you know what I mean, and I just kind of watch the fight, and I don't hear a lot of the commentary, and I kind of score it myself round by round. A lot of times I'll like post it on my Twitter, or my Facebook, or you know what I'm saying, whatever the case, and just kind of just reach out and talk to the people, man. Let everybody know what I'm thinking if you're interested. And so, without further ado, we can go ahead and get into it. So round one for me. There we go. So yeah, round one for me, I gave it to Fury, and so and thankfully I did post these. So right now I'm just going back through my Twitter. Matter of fact, if you own Twitter or X, give your dog a follow. All right, at Real Ball Talk 247. Tap in with your dog. Talk to me. I know I talk back, and so yeah, man, I hope to see y'all there. But round one, I gave to Fury. So I came out the gate. Excuse me. I came out the gate 10-9 for Fury. I think he controlled the round more so with his jab and effective feinting. So feinting is a lost art in boxing, in my opinion. Effective feinting, because I hate that just kind of quick, jittery shoulder shake movements, or you get into some of that which isn't effective and oftentimes just looks silly, or gets you caught. You know what I'm saying? And so effective feinting, because Gypsy King, Tyson Fury, he was working his jab. He's got a great jab as well. He's working his jab, and I feel like he had effective feinting. It felt like Usyk was very reactive to damn near just every feint that came from Fury, especially in round one. But now, like I said, this is round one. We're tight now. Let's start to kind of get loose. Let's try to find our rhythm. And so you're settling in. What is there? We're setting that tempo, setting that pace. So I feel like that Fury won that one with, like I say, effective jab. I thought his feinting was very effective, and I thought he did a great job of keeping Usyk from being able to find his range for most of that round. And then I think the only punch of significance that Usyk landed in that, he did land a very solid punch. He landed an overhead. I want to say it was an overhand left towards the end of that round. Now, it was probably the most significant single shot of the round, but that one shot for me didn't do enough to outdo the actual work that I felt like Tyson Fury did in that round. I gave round one to Tyson Fury, so 10-9. And so now also, while y'all in here and we breaking this thing down, y'all give me y'all scores as well. If you scored the fight, you know what I'm saying, let me know what your score was. Or if you scored the fight, drop me a score for sure. Or if just who you thought won the fight, you know what I mean? Like, I want to hear all that. I want to hear y'all thoughts on this fight. And then I'm gonna try to keep up with the chat as well, man. So, my dog Keandre came in, man, with a good opinion about the fight. Said in his opinion, Tyson came in too light. He needed to lean on Usyk like he did Wilder and tire him out. All the feints that Usyk didn't bite on with fresh legs were a problem. And you know what? There's a part of me, like, I was surprised to see how lean Tyson Fury was in this fight as well. And I think I remarked on it. I don't know if it was Twitter or Facebook or whatever the case, but I said the same thing. Like, man, Tyson Fury looks damn good, man, as far as just, he was super lean, super in shape. And so there's a part of me that thinks, and you know what? This is also kind of what we saw in the first Wilder fight. And so in the first Wilder fight, with Wilder being a leaner dude, I think he wanted to ensure he was going to be able to have his own legs and have his own movement, because Usyk has great footwork, and he can move and cut off the ring with the best of them, in which we saw a lot of that as well. And I think for the game plan that Tyson Fury came in with, I think he wanted to use his own legs in there as well. And in my opinion, I don't mind his weight, because I liked a lot of what we saw for Tyson Fury. I thought in this fight, there's a stretch of this fight. And this is why I hate the kind of discourse around this fight since it's happened, because we all remember that electric ninth round. Honestly, the fight probably could have been stopped in that ninth round, and Fury and Usyk wins, wins via TKO stoppage. He could have won that fight right there in the ninth. But up until that point, I think Tyson Fury was looking very dominant for a good portion of the early parts of this fight. I think rounds 4, 5, 6, I want to say, for me, it really looked like Tyson Fury just completely kind of settled in and they're taking control. And we'll get to that. Oh, hold on, let me see here. My dog Keandre said he don't think that Tyson found his range in round one either. And see, well, that's the thing. He didn't let a right hand go, and that's one of the things I talked about. I don't think Tyson Fury threw a right hand into the fourth round, because I think he was. I think it felt like, to me, his plan was he wanted to use his legs. He was using his jab, and he was doing a good. He did, well, at least in round one, he did a good job, I think, of keeping Usyk out of range, and then just kind of touching him with that jab. I don't think he threw a meaningful right hand, honestly, until like round 4. But then, so that's I had Tyson Fury with round 1. Richard Hutchinson says he also thinks round 1 was 50-50. He would have gave it a 10-10 round 1. See, look, hey man, y'all gotta get off the fence. All right. Keandre, Richard Hutchinson. Y'all gotta get out the fence, man. Y'all grown men. Make a decision, man. Y'all can't just give out these 10-10 so early or so easily, man. You gotta make a decision. You gotta reserve a 10-10 round for something like, I mean, it's out for a 10-10 round, man. I want to see back and forth slobber knocker action. I want to see Hearns and Hagler's round 1. If we gonna give somebody a 10-10, man. Because we gotta remember, round 1, Tyson Fury, I mean, like I said, no, there was Usyk landed that overhand right, which is probably it was his only significant shot landed in that round 1, and it was like in the last 30 seconds of the round. And then outside of that, I think Tyson Fury probably landed 6 or 7 jabs, and like I said, kept him off balance with his feint. And I think defensively, he just, I don't know, man. Y'all can't. How many 10-10 rounds y'all got? Y'all gonna make me nervous, man. We already getting the 10-10 even rounds. Hard to call in round 1. Come on now. But I gave that first one to Tyson Fury. Then now round 2, I think Usyk comes right out, and everything that I think he didn't do in round 1, I think he does in round 2. So in round 2, I've got here Usyk. I think he found his range. He landed a very solid shot, almost from the opening bell in round 2. So this is also a very good credit to Usyk, because the way round 1 went, I was thinking, okay, maybe there's going to be kind of a slow burn of a fight. Maybe it's going to take a while for Usyk to kind of navigate the length, pause, of Tyson Fury, and kind of figure out how to kind of get inside to get off, pause. God dang, man. And to kind of, find his own rhythm and pace and range. But no, he comes out round 2 and lands a very solid shot, man, within the first 15 seconds of the round. And so the issues that he had from range were null and void right there in round 2. And also, I think he controlled the ring, and he was finally able to capitalize when he got Fury in the corner. There was a couple times in round 1 where Usyk did a great job of kind of cutting the ring off, and he cornered Fury, I want to say twice in round 1, and I don't even think he let any shots off. You know what I mean? Like Tyson was able to kind of just keep him off balance, feint him a little bit, touch him with his own jab, and then get out of there. And I feel like Usyk kind of didn't capitalize in those moments in round 1, whereas in round 2, he comes out, it looks like he's settled whatever issues he had with range in round 1. And when he got Tyson in the corner, he got off a couple shots. Now he wasn't dominant in those corners, but he at least capitalized on having Fury in the corner. And so I definitely gave round 2 to Usyk. Let me see. I got some more scores. Okay, my dog Keandre says he had round 2 10-9 for Usyk. Richard Hudson, what he say for us, man? He said round 1 was a cagey round because both were finding their range, game plan, and found each other out. No, and I agree. I agree with everything you're saying. I think I gave Tyson Fury credit for the jab and the feint work, and that's why how I split those hairs. But no, I definitely agree with your point though, for sure. But getting into round 3, I had Usyk winning round 3 as well, and so he still controlled the ring, and he kept Fury more so kind of on the back foot. And then I commented on this as well, because like I said, I don't think Tyson Fury threw a right hand until round 4. So one of my notes here is that Fury hasn't committed to a right hand And now his jab is less and less effective. And so I think his jab was more effective in round one, less effective in round two. And then in round three, I don't think it didn't feel like it was effective or a deterrent for Usyk at all as far as getting into his range and getting off and landing shots. And so, and then I think Usyk also really settled into his own range, and I think he started finding the mark pretty consistently there in round three. He landed some solid shots there. Like I said, nothing of overt uh, power, nothing like super damaging, but I think he definitely landed the harder, cleaner shots in round three for sure. And Tyson Fury lost a lot of the effectiveness with his jab. And so I've got it at this point, round 3 rounds in, so we're a quarter of the fight in. I've got it 2-1 for Usyk with 10-9 on both sides of the winners there. Now getting into round four. Round four is where the game plan for me for Fury started to kind of reveal itself. Because round four for me, I had that a 10-9 round for Fury. And this is where we see him start going to the body. I think, and this is what also, if I'm a Fury fan I'm a fan of boxing, but if I'm in Fury's corner or we're rewatching this fight or, we're talking about what we did wrong, what we did right, the game plan, Fury did excellent body work right here in the early to mid part of this fight. And that started in round four, where I think Fury's defense picked up. There was a lot of spurts in this fight where I thought Tyson Fury, to be as big as he is at 6'9", 260, 270 pounds, he has tremendous, he has tremendous head movement and slip ability. You know what I mean? Like, and it's some of these slips and just the way he was just out of range on a lot of Usyk shots is special. As far as head movement goes, Tyson Fury, Canelo has some of the best, if not the best, head movement in boxing. I would say, as far as staying in the pocket and just slipping and like I said, and just using effective head movement. So Tyson Fury, his defense definitely picked up starting in round four, and he starts going to the body. And so this is where I think this is where Tyson Fury is going in this fight, because we have to remember, Alexander Usyk, he won a relatively controversial match himself versus Daniel Dubois. I want to say a year or year and a half before this Fury fight, in which Daniel Dubois caught him with a tremendous body shot that sent Usyk down. Now, I've seen the replays. I saw that fight live as well. I wasn't there. I watched it live. Was not a low blow. The ref ruled it as a low blow and gave Usyk, several minutes to recover. But I mean, it was a tremendous body shot. Usyk hit the ground, crumpled, and rolled around. If that's a knockdown, as I think it should have been ruled, a lot of people who saw it think that should have been ruled a knockdown. It was right on the belt line. Like I said, you can go back and Google it now. He hit some right on the belt line, tremendous body shot. And man, if y'all think Ryan Garcia felt it from Tank, that Daniel Dubois body shot to Usyk was terrible. And so Fury starts going to the body there. I think his defense improved. And so I've got it 2-2 after 4 rounds with 10-9 rounds for each fighter, now heading into the 5th round. And then, we got some more scores. Let me see here. Keandre said he had a 10-9 for... Oh, you gave round 3 and 4 to Fury. Okay. Keandre says he had a 10-9 Fury in round 3 and 10-9 Fury in round 4. See, I thought Usyk looked good 2 and 3. I gave Usyk 3, but I definitely gave Fury 4 for sure. But okay, so I think on your card then, if I'm keeping up with you, Keandre, you got it 2-1 and 1. Or you've got it 2-1 with 1 even. I think you said you gave you had the first round even. But so getting into round 5, I think Fury, this is where Fury settles in. I think round 4, Fury kind of did good body work. His defense and his head movement especially picked up. And then he comes out in round 5, and this is where he really settled in for me. This is where I was like, okay, Fury's at home right now. This is where he looked, to this point, his most comfortable in this whole fight. He was in firm control of the fight at this point in my mind. After this fifth round, he continued the excellent body work that he had started in round 4. He picked that up in round 5, and I thought he did an excellent job as well of really keeping Usyk out of range. Usyk couldn't find range anymore. He lost his range from rounds 2 and 3, in my opinion, a little bit more so in round 4. But in round 5, I thought this is where Tyson's defense and his offense to this point in the fight were hitting. He was hitting his stride on both sides of the pendulum. And then this, for me, I thought it wasn't an overly damaging round, but I thought that this round 5 for me, for Tyson Fury, was a very dominant tactical round. And I say that because of the way he was able to, like I said, keep Usyk from finding his range, and then consistent work he did to the body. Like I said, now 2 rounds in a row. And so I thought that was a tremendous round for Fury. And then round 6 for me, I think round 6 may have been Tyson Fury's best round of the fight, in my opinion. So 4, 5, and 6 for me, I thought that Tyson Fury had really settled into control of this fight. Round 6, Fury picked up on it felt like he built round 5 built on round 4. Round 6 built on what I thought to that point in round 5 was the most dominant round. Well, round 6, he takes it up another level still. He follows up that dominant round 5 with an even more dominant 6. Great body work. He hurt Usyk in this round. Round 6 is where he continues the body work, and then this is the round where he finally cracked Usyk's armor. We saw Usyk momentarily hurt in round 6, and so this one as well, I thought was, like I said, I think this was the apex of Fury's night. Like, this was in my opinion, this was his best round. He kept building on the body work to Usyk. He hurt Usyk in this round. Now, Usyk wasn't as hurt as, of course, Fury was in 9, but Usyk was definitely hurting this one. And then also, he got on his bike a little bit. He had to get on the back foot, get on his bike, and kind of move around and recover and kind of gain his bearings again here. And then also in this fight, in this round, Fury's head movement was phenomenal, was truly special in this round 6. And this is where I was watching, like, okay, this may be the best or most complete Tyson Fury that I've seen. I was really feeling like that after this 6th round, because after watching rounds 4, 5, and 6, and then seeing his progression in each of those rounds, and it was really, like I said, the body work, his defensive work, just keeping him out of range, and then also his head movement was just super special to me. And I think all of those were firing at their highest in round 6 for me. That was a tremendous round. Round 7 for me is where I think was I don't think it was quite a full-fledged swing round, but round 7 for me, I think, was the most difficult round to score. And so I know a couple of y'all had it a 10-10 round in round 1. Round 7 for me was a tough round, or it could be a swing round as well. And see, look, right on time, Keandre said he had round 7 as a 10-10 round. See, I didn't want to do that. I try to reserve those 10-10 rounds, man, because it's got to be something, truly. I try to reserve those. I feel like I'm kind of copping out, man. I feel like if I take a 10-10 round, I kind of copped out. I don't want to punk out, man. I be trying to tell myself, make a decision. You know what I mean? But I can see why you did that, because that was a very difficult round for me to score as well. I ended up giving round 7 to Fury, and this is why. And so I think Fury bullied Usyk for the first half of round 7. And so he came out, and so he's coming off of round 6. And then also, I'm also taking into account the flow of the flow of the fight. Tyson Fury is in firm control of this fight at this point. And then he hurt Usyk in that 6th round. He comes out in the 7th round, and I feel like he bullied him. I feel like he really kind of more so kind of was really settling into having his way, especially at the early part of that 7th. And I thought that, okay, Tyson may be moving towards a stoppage here. Like, I was thinking that after seeing round 4, 5, and 6, and then the first minute or so of round 7, I'm like, okay, yeah, he was already in firm control at that point in my mind. His power was starting to Usyk was starting to feel the effects of some of these shots, and I was like, okay, 2-3 more rounds. I was thinking maybe round 9-10, maybe we see Fury finally, wear Usyk down enough and we get a stoppage there. This is how the fight was looking to me at this point. So I've got Fury bullying Usyk for the first half of that round. But in the second half of that round, and this is what's truly special about Alexander Usyk's performance in this fight, because he really turned the tides of that round in the back half of that seventh round, and this is coming off of a sixth round in which he was hurt, mind you. So he really came on at the end of that seventh round. He got off a couple flashy combinations in that one. Now, here's the thing as well. Those combinations looked great, but I still think that I don't think enough of the punches in that combination, I don't think enough of those landed home, or not enough of them landed clean for sure. And also, Fury still showed some of his very best head movement in this round as well, because Usyk finally was able to kind of let his hands go and get shots off in bunches again, for it feels like the first time, in my mind, it felt like the first time since the third round. And so he closes with letting his hands go. It was definitely more flashy volume work in that round overall than what we saw from Tyson Fury. But the reason I still gave that round to Fury is because I don't think enough of those flashy kind of combination shots or punches and bunches, I don't think enough of them landed. Definitely didn't enough of them land cleanly. And I still feel that Tyson Fury had supreme head movement, weathering the storm and slipping and missing and making him just miss a lot of those shots. And so I still gave round 7 to Tyson Fury. But this is where I can see, okay, Usyk is kind of, if Usyk kind of, this is Usyk's second win. Okay, 4, 5, 6, and especially we see Fury, putting work into the body, and it started to show dividends. And then, like I said, that second half of round 7 is where it feels like Usyk had, and pardon the expression, he had his come to Jesus moment. Like, hey, hold on, man, I ain't going for it. He put his foot down and he started getting off shots. And so he started kind of, we see him kind of try to, take back some of this momentum that Fury had, but I still don't think it was quite enough to say he won the round for me. So I gave that round to Fury. And then I see you, Richard Hutchinson, man. He's got a comment for it. He got the scores for me. Okay, round 2, he's got Fury 10-9. See, I thought Usyk won 2 and 3, but I think you and Keandre both gave round 3 to Fury. Okay. Oh, no. You gave Usyk 3, but you gave Fury 2. Okay. Round 4, you've got Usyk winning 10-9, 5 Fury, 6 Fury, and 7 Fury. Okay, so 5, 6, and 7 for me. I'm right in line with you. No, 4, 5, 6, and 7. I think all those were Fury. Like I said, there's a point in this fight that gets overlooked in which Fury had really settled in and was on the verge of dominating. Like, if he was on the verge of really dominating and then leading Usyk towards a stoppage in that 4, 5, 6, and in that first half of the 7th round, in my opinion. Now, Usyk rallied in to close that 7th, but I still feel like it wasn't enough to take it from Fury. Then let's say you got round 8 is where you've got Usyk. You gave Usyk round 8, and then of course with the knockdown in 9, you've got Usyk with a 10-8 round in round 9. Okay. And then let me see where I'm at. I'm on 8, round 8, and actually I'll leave that up. And so if anybody, I'll leave that up in case anybody was still trying to read through that. Round 8 for me, I gave it to Usyk. So I think Usyk closed round 7 nice, and then he came out in round 8, in my opinion, and he built on some of that mojo that he had got going to close out round 7. He came out round 8, and I think that was Usyk's best round since round 3, in my opinion. And so, like I said, I think he really built on some of that momentum that he closed out round 7, and he went out, and I think he took and won round 9, in my opinion, for sure. And so now we'll get to round 9. Round 9, and you know what, Richard Hutchinson, right on time, man. Right on time. Round 9 arguably should have ended that fight. Round 9 arguably should have ended that fight. And I'm not a fan. There's nothing I hate worse. Like, I think worse than a bad judge's decision, and especially in boxing these days, and I'm saying these days, but I would imagine boxing fans around the world have felt this way since the beginning of time. I hate to see a bad decision in a fight and where the judges just get it wrong, in my opinion. But worse than the judges getting it wrong, in my opinion, worse than the judges getting it wrong is an early stoppage or a bad stoppage. I absolutely hate that because I grew up watching Rocky 4, man. If he dies, he dies. Okay. Hey, all right. Figuratively. I mean that figuratively. I don't want to see anybody die in the ring. But still, man, I was a Rocky kid, man. I seen Apollo beat the bejesus out of Rocky for 36 rounds. Or no, there was those 15 round fights in those Rocky movies for 30 rounds. I saw Apollo for 29 rounds. I saw Apollo give Rocky CTE. And Rocky still found a way to hold on and make it and win that second rematch, man. So I say all that to say I hate to see an early stoppage. And even myself and how I feel about stoppages, if the ref would have stopped that fight in round 9, I would have been okay. I would have been okay, man. And you know what Keandre said? Keandre's in here. He said, not for Undisputed. Give him a chance to recover. And see, I'm with you. I'm with you, Keandre. I'm with you. But Fury wasn't defending himself, dog. Fury got beat to all 4 corners, dog. Fury stumbled across 3. Fury got knocked into 3 of the 4 corners of the ring, bro. If the ropes wasn't there, Fury would have been in the front row. And he big. Fury would have fell into the 3rd row of somebody's lap twice. He would have fell through the ropes into the crowd at least twice on some of those stumbles, man. And so he really, like, that fight could have been stopped. I'm not gonna lie. And the ref in this instance, and this is just the feeling I got. I almost feel like when the ref finally went and grabbed Usyk, I was almost thinking he was gonna wave it off. But the announcer in Riyadh, they were in Saudi Arabia, right? So the announcer in Riyadh, and I don't feel like I've seen this or noticed this in American fights, like when the fights are over here in America. The announcer, the MC in that fight, he starts to count 1, 2, 3. So he's already at 3, and I think the ref was probably going to stop that fight, but the announcer is on loud on the speakerphone, and he's got the count at 3, and so the ref, picks up the count, and Tyson, to his credit, he's able to continue. But that right there was the one of the more. I think that was the most hurt that we've ever seen Tyson Fury be in a fight. I'm including the knockdowns from Wilder because, and the reason why I say that is because sometimes, it's almost like the difference between, let's say, an Earl Spence and a Bud Crawford. So Earl Spence accumulates a lot of punishment on some fighters. So we talk about like the damage he done to Yordenis Ugas. Matter of fact, shout out to my dog Tom. We was in Vegas, man. We went and caught that one. You know what I'm saying? We get out here, we get out here and catch these fights when we can, man. So we were in Vegas and saw that one live. But he was pummeling Yordenis Ugas for a good portion of that fight before it gets stopped, but he didn't knock him down or knock him out. But and it feels like a lot of Spence's fights kind of are handled that way. He has a lot of thumping, accumulative power, and he damages guys. He definitely does. But Bud Crawford, on the other hand, he knocks guys down and knocks guys out. And so a knockdown or a knockdown necessarily is not always as damaging as the continued accumulation of damage and power and taking shots. And so those Wilder knockdowns, while traumatic, for sure, you're never gonna hear me say that somebody's gonna shake that off. I'm not gonna say that at all. But he's not as hurt. You get your bell rung, your lights get turned off, and then your body reboots. You blink a couple times, and now, oh damn, I'm laying down. Okay, I gotta get up. You know what I mean? But I think as far as being hurt, Tyson Fury was dangerously hurt when those shots landed. And honestly, I think it was Tyson Fury's fault because I don't think Usyk came out and built on the momentum that he had started around 8, letting his hands go. He had got back into his range. I think Tyson Fury got lazy defensively. I honestly, because he left his hands down, and then Tyson Fury he catches him with it was a right, and then followed by a left, and the left came right around and caught him just right on the button, and Tyson Fury took 2 steps back and fell into the ropes, and then now there's blood in the water. And credit to Usyk because he jumped on him. And this is another thing as well that really shows the mark of a world-class fighter. This is why Bud Crawford for me. And we'll get into a pound for pound if I don't take all night, man, and y'all still want to talk some boxing after we get through this fight. We can get to the pound for pound rankings and that type of thing. But this for me is why I still would make the argument that maybe Bud Crawford should still be the number 1 fighter in the world for me, because I think he is the absolute best finisher in boxing. And the reason I say that, and there's some great finishers. Tank Davis is a great finisher. There's some great guys. We can get into all that type of stuff. But the reason I say that is, and what I saw from Usyk is, it's not just, oh God, he's hurt, I'm now windmilling. Now I'm just throwing everything at the kitchen. I'm throwing everything but the kitchen sink at him. Like, no, I'm talking about effective, under controlled, accurate volume punching to really finish a guy. Because he didn't waste a lot of those punches. It was punches and bunches, and a lot of them hoes found home. You know what I mean? And so, and that to me is the mark of a very talented, very skilled fighter. Listen, a guy in Oscar De La Hoya in his day was a tremendous finisher, but a lot of it felt like just volume. I'm just gonna throw 1,000 punches in these next 12 seconds because we can see you're hurt, and I'm gonna just flood you with punches and get the ref to come in. You know what I mean? But I'm talking about effective, accurate, really strong, powerful, accurate shots. It was masterful work in that round for Usyk, man. And like I said, he knocked Fury into 3 different corners in that big ass ring. And like I said, Fury could have fell through those ropes twice. So the second time where the ref comes in, because if the ropes hold you up from falling down, that does count as a knockdown, even though he never went to the ground. But I mean, it was that fight could have been stopped right there, and I would not have been upset about it. I really wouldn't have. And like I said, and like I said, I'm a huge Rocky fan. If Rocky's on TNT right now, I'm watching it. Let me find out there's a Rocky marathon that starts at midnight tonight. I'm not gonna get no sleep. I'm gonna watch all of it except number 5. Who watches number 5? But you feel me? So I'm not upset about that there, man. But definitely a 10-8 round, and that was definitely a very memorable round, man. Definitely a very, very memorable round. Keanu just said getting the standing 8. Nah, I mean they gave him the standing 8, but nah, man. Nah. That was brutal. That was a brutal round. And like I said, the reason why I said that, Keanu said he gave it a 10-7. I'm not gonna lie, man. I didn't give it a 10-7. I try to have it be multiple knockdowns if it's gonna be 10-7. But I'm not gonna lie to you, bro. I'm not mad at that. The same way I feel about giving 10-10 or even rounds is similar to how I feel about 10-7, because 10-7 is just so much to overcome. And so I don't want to punish a guy twice for getting his ass kicked in a round. You know what I mean? Because we already know you got your ass kicked, but man, coming back from a 10-7 round, that can almost be the nail in the coffin, especially in a fight that's going back and forth, kind of like how this one turned into as well. And so 10-7 can sometimes be too great of a detriment to the fighter. I don't want to punish him twice. So I try to reserve 10-7s myself. But like I said, man, as dominant and as hurt as Fury was in that round, there's a part of me that understands why you did that. There's a part of me that understands why you did that. I can't even lie. But no, I did give it an 8. I did give it a 10-8. My dog Chad said if he'd have fell through the ropes, he definitely was going to tear somebody's ACL. Boy, if he'd have fell, he was going to crack somebody's ribs. What you mean? He was going to bow somebody in the chest. Somebody baby mama was getting a cracked sternum, man. Somebody baby mama was getting a bruised sternum for sure. And somebody, the man might have caught a cracked jaw. Imagine catching a bow from Fury falling, because you got to remember the ring is elevated. He's going to fall back a good 5-6 feet off a good 5 feet off the ground, and he's 6'9", 270. Man, look, hey, he's sending 3 people to the hospital with him. Let's see here. Richard Hutchinson said Fury was using his reach on the back foot, wasn't pressuring Usyk, height and weight on Usyk. I'm not sure. I'm not sure. I missed the timing of that comment, bruh. I missed the time because I think right. I was still talking about round 9. Wasn't pressuring Usyk. I'm not sure the timing of that comment, bruh. You might have to refresh, or I might have went back too far. Foot bucket pressure. Get close to the Fury. Okay. Ah man, Richard, man, I missed the timing on some of those comments, bro. I missed the timing on some of those comments. Then the Chop, I see Chopper here, man. He's not a fighter in the world better than Bud. Hey, you know we're gonna have to talk about it. We gonna matter of fact, if y'all stick around, man, we'll get into a pound for pound, man, and kind of see where you guys' thoughts are. Then Richard Hutchinson says, please compare Usyk versus Joshua 1 to versus Joshua 2, and then Usyk versus Usyk and Fury 1. Ooh, that's interesting as well. That's interesting as well, man. Oh man, that's a lot. We'll see if we get to it, man. Let's close out these last 3 rounds of this fight. Then I do want to talk a little pound for pound talk. Talk a little pound for pound talk, man. We'll see where the time is at, and then maybe we can kind of get into those Usyk Joshua fights as well. Or man, we might have to run it back. We might have to come back and do some more boxing talk, man. And we can kind of get into some of the more kind of some of these other. That's a classic fight in my opinion. I think that's a classic fight, so we can kind of get into just some of these classic fights in recent memory, man. I love to talk about that as well. I love talking boxing as well. Yeah, okay, yeah. So Kiara said no 10-7, but you thought the fight should be over. Well, okay, and that's because if you are gonna give him the benefit of the doubt to give him the standing 8, because he fell into the ropes, he still didn't go down. Like when I give a 10-7, like I want to see the guy go down twice. Like I just me personally, I want to see the guy go down twice, or the guy goes down, he gets up, and then he is battered and maybe gets saved by the bell, in that round. So the thing about that round 9, and the only reason I say I still gave it a 10-8 is because well, like I said, man, with them, they let Fury get his head beat around 3 of those corners of the ring, and then I think once he got the standing 8 count, what was there, maybe 30-40 seconds left in the round, I want to say, and I don't think, and not that Usyk needed to, you know what I mean, but I don't think that I think Fury did enough just surviving the back half of that round, and he didn't necessarily take any more. There wasn't any more, I think, prolific punishment dealt for the remainder of the round once they did give him the standing 8 and he continued on. And so that's why I left it at a 10-8. But let's say if he'd have took that standing 8 count and then Usyk resumed the punishment that he was dealing out, then maybe I'd have considered a 7. But that's why. I think once he got through the 8, I don't think there was enough punishment dealt out on the other side of the standing 8 to give it a 7. But in the moment when the man stumbles, bro, he could have fell out the ring before the ref finally came and grabbed Usyk and they started that standing 8 count. The corner before, because you gotta forget, he was in that first corner getting pummeled, and then he got caught, and then he stumbled back and fell all the way from the top left corner to the bottom, or from the top right corner to the bottom right corner, before which he was definitely unequivocally going to fall out the ring if not for those ropes. And so that's why I was thinking, like, man, hey, this could be stopped. Because also we got to keep in mind, man, Fury's 36, 37, you know what I'm saying? He's been through some wars. He's had his brain rattled by Deontay Wilder as well. So he's accumulated a lot of damage in his career. Like, I started being worried about the health of Fury. You know what I mean? Because I don't want to see a guy with deficits. We all remember, and shout out to the GOAT, man, RP the legend. But we remember what it was like, man, seeing well, God bless the dead. But we see what it was like Muhammad Ali at the 96 Olympics lighting the torch in Atlanta. You know what I mean? With the Parkinson's set in, and the Parkinson's being attributed to, damage from blows he has sustained to the head from boxing. Man, I never want to see another boxer, have to live on the other side of his career like that. Like when I hear Evander Holyfield talk, you know what I mean? His speech is so heavily slurred. You know what I mean? When I hear James Toney talk, when I hear Riddick Bowe speak, You know what I mean? I think Lennox Lewis still has his faculties and he sounds good talking, but man, pull up a clip of like a recent interview with Evander Holyfield, Riddick Bowe, uh, James Toney. You know what I mean? Some of our greats, you know what I mean? Some of these guys that gave us exciting performances, and man, they paying for it on the other side of their careers, man. It's I don't want to see Tyson Fury, especially a guy as charismatic and as personable as he is. When he retires, I want him to still show up and give a ringside account watching Jared Big Baby Miller, you know what I'm saying, being champion. I want him to be able to speak and talk and still have all his faculties, man. That's why I don't want to see Fury go out bad like that, man. But okay, here we go. I'm gonna pick it up, man. So we almost hour and a half. I'm gonna try to pick it up. Now, round 10 for me, I thought this fight was gonna be. I thought that Usyk, okay, after hurting him the way he was hurt, I thought, okay, Usyk can go ahead and carry this one on home. I didn't know what to expect from Fury in round 10. I thought Usyk took his foot off the pedal in round 10. And so I thought Tyson Fury won round 10. Because I think that Usyk let off the gas. Now, it could have been that he expended a lot of energy in that round 9 for sure. He definitely did. And so I think he had to catch, I think he caught his second win at the end of round 7, and then he went in round 8, won 8. He dominated in round 9. So round 10, I think, is where he kind of had to give himself a second breather. He took his foot off the pedal, if you ask me. And I thought that Tyson Fury, I wasn't sure how he was going to recover just from as bad as he was hurt. And I think that he recovered. He did recover well enough. And I think he did enough to actually win that round. But not that he did anything necessarily spectacular. But I think Usyk took his foot off the gas. And I was worried that Usyk kind of taking his foot off the gas for round 10 may be too much, and maybe he lets Fury get it, like I said, just fully recover now, and then maybe going into the championship rounds that maybe that was a bad, maybe that was a tactical mistake. But round 10, I did give it, I gave it to Fury. Keandre said he gave 10 to Usyk. See, I thought Usyk took round 10 off. See, I felt like I felt like I don't think he overly gassed himself, so to say, but I think he definitely had to take a breather or, take a breath in round 10, and I thought he kind of conceded it more or less to Fury. So I gave Fury 10. Now, 11 for me was a swing round. So 11 for me is a round that I think I considered it a swing round, but the reason why it was similar to round 7, because in round 7, what I was saying was that Usyk came on in the second half of that round. He got off some flurries, some punches and bunches. Now, not enough of them landed clean, and I think Fury's head movement and defense was still very good, even in those kind of flashy outbursts from Usyk. And so I didn't necessarily think it was enough to steal the round from Fury, who controlled the first 2 minutes of the round, so to say. Round 11 was interesting. So I think when I was watching it, I thought that Usyk kind of took his foot off the pedal in round 10. And okay, so I was okay. So he's gonna just ramp it up, or he's conserving his energy in round 10 because now the championship round started. 11 and 12 are considered championship rounds. Okay, he's gonna recharge round 10, come back out, and see if he can put his foot back to the floor for these championship rounds. Well, I thought that he came out and he coasted the majority of round 11 as well. So I think that now Fury didn't do anything of consequence, but I think he was active. I don't think Usyk was active for the first half of that round 11, and I think Fury was active, but he wasn't overly effective. But see, then at the very close of the round, and I hate scoring like this because I never want to have just one moment dictate the entire round. I definitely don't. That's why I gave round 7 to Fury. But Usyk landed a very solid clean overhand left to close round 11. And the reason why, and honestly, on my scorecard, and I hate scoring like this, I gave that round to Usyk because it was legitimately the only punch of consequence thrown or landed in the round. And it was a very solid overhand left that caught Tyson Fury flush, and it was right there within the last 20 seconds of the round. I ended up giving that round to Usyk because even though Tyson Fury had been active for the first, all the other 2 minutes and 30 seconds of that round or whatever. Okay, he had been active. I just don't think he was necessarily effective. You know what I mean? So I want to see, like, being active is one thing, but effective activity. Like, I want to, like, does it actually do the things you're doing actually matter or mean something? You know what I mean? Now, if Usyk doesn't land such a convincing shot, and if Tyson would have landed anything of consequence during the round, that shot wouldn't have been enough to steal that round. I went ahead and let Usyk steal that round on the strength of that, the way he closed it, round 11, because though I was on the way to giving that round to Fury, he didn't do anything to necessarily cement the round. It almost was, again, for me, Usyk maybe conceding this round a little bit, or conceding too great a portion of this round. But then he did land a very solid shot of consequence flush. And it was the only, when I really thought about it, I said, well, that was the only real punch of any consequence for that round. And so I went ahead and let him steal that round. I gave round 11 begrudgingly to Alexander Usyk. Like I said, that for me was the one swing round that I had, but I did score it for Usyk 10-9. So now we get into round 12. Okay. I was on pins and needles for this round 12. I didn't know what we were gonna get. Cause I was like, okay, Usyk, he's kind of took his foot off the pedal in 10 and for the majority of 11, but he did find that overhand left hand again in round 11. So now does he come out in 12 and really try to close the show? Or is Tyson Fury now 2 rounds removed from that round 9? Is he now fully recovered? And do we see him get back into his bag from earlier in the fight, like round 5 and 6? And does he do enough to or does he return the favor and maybe get a knockdown on Usyk? I didn't know what to expect for this 12. Now, round 12, I think it was close, but I gave round 12 to Tyson Fury. And this is why I'll tell you why. I think it was a close round. I think he was more effective. And so I think he was more effective and more accurate. And so I don't know what the punch stats were. I probably should have checked or double checked. I don't know what the punch count said. And I don't like using the punch count or punch check, because I feel like it's so inconsistent. Honestly, it's so inconsistent. It's so inaccurate. It's like a good example of that is that the Lomachenko fight. Now, he dominated Kambosos, but like they said that Kambosos landed 30 punches the entire fight. I mean, he didn't do much damage, but I could count more than 30 times where he put leather on Lomachenko's body. You know what I mean? So I don't like using that, referring to the punch counter, but I do feel like if it was relatively an even round, I do think that Tyson landed more accurately and more effectively. So I did give round 12 to Tyson Fury. And so, look, Keandre, you killing me, dog. Keandre, he said he got round 12 even as well. Hey, man, dog, Keandre, bro, you got 3 even rounds in the same fight. Come on, bro. How? 3? You got to get off that fence, man. You can't sit on the fence like that, dog. You got to get off that fence, bro. You got to get off that. I tell you what it is, man. You know what I'm saying? Next time you bump into me and it's a fight, bro, we're gonna have to sit down and watch a fight together. I'm not gonna let you sit on the fence, dog. You got to be a man and make a decision, man. You got to get off that fence. 3 even rounds, bro. That's too many even rounds, dog. He said he did give round 11. He had round 11 for Usyk. What do you say? Still believe Fury is taking the pace back. And let's mention with in the left that you mentioned, yeah, exactly. Yeah, that left, it was a damn good left hand. That's what I'm saying. It was a damn good left hand. And like I said, Fury was active, but he wasn't effective. And so that's why I let that left hand steal that round for me as well. So we on the same page there. But I did give 12 to Tyson Fury. And so when I went back and did all the math, and I'm about to post it here now. My final scorecard read, where's it at? There it is. My final scorecard read 114 to 113 Tyson the Gypsy King Fury. Now, this is this fight, it could have went 114, 113 either way for me. Because, like I said, round 7, I can see the argument I don't think it was enough. Like round 7, the activity, the flashy kind of flurries, the couple flurries we saw from Usyk to close round 7. I think round 7 was the other round that was a close enough round that maybe could have been a swing round. I think Keandre had that round as even on his card. I gave it to Fury, but if somebody said, if somebody decided to give that round to Usyk, I couldn't I would disagree, but I would understand it. And so if we switch that 10-9, then it's that the scores just switch, and so it's 114, 113 for Usyk. So yeah, I would take one and give one. Yeah, so it'd be 114, 113 the other way. But I did give it to Fury. I gave the other swing round to to Usyk. So I guess the 2 rounds that could have been swing rounds for me, they split them anyway. And so I don't feel terrible about that. I didn't give both swing rounds to one guy, because sometimes then it makes me feel like, I want to feel like it's as even as I caught it as even as I can. So I had it 114, 113 for Fury. Now, here's the thing about this. I'm not upset that Usyk was declared the champion, because because the reason I'm not upset about the decision, because like I said, if that fight was a TKO stoppage in round 9, it would have been a great performance from both guys. Tyson Fury's 6th round, I think, was one of the best rounds I've ever seen from Tyson Fury. I truly feel that way. That was round 6. Tyson Fury beats 99 out of 100 other heavyweights over the last 20 years. You know what I'm saying? Like that round 6 Tyson Fury was special. It was phenomenal. He did excellent body work. His defense was the best it had been all night. His head work, it was phenomenal on both sides of the coin, offensively and defensively. That was a very special round. But yeah, man, if that fight got stopped in round 9 via TKO, that was just going to be a legendary comeback performance for Usyk in my book. And so with Usyk getting the final decision, I don't hate it at all. I do hate the wide spread on one of the cards. One of the cards had it 115 to 112 for Usyk, and I didn't get that. That feels, and it's not egregious. It's not a 118 to it's not a 118 to 108 card or something like that, like we saw for Canelo versus Bivol or something just ludicrous like that. You know what I mean? It's not one of those, but 115, 112, I guess that difference is what, 2 more rounds to Usyk than I gave, but I don't know. Anywho, 114, 113, majority split decision or majority decision for Usyk. And when it's all said and done, the damage he did in round 9, I'm not upset about him being declared the winner. I'm really not. And so that was my final card. And then let me see. Keandre said he had it 113, 115 for Usyk. And he had it 5 rounds to Usyk, 4 rounds to, I think he means to say 4 rounds to Tyson, and he had the 3 evens. And so on his card, it was 113, 115 for Usyk. And like I said, that's not a terrible score. Like I said, I definitely think it went either way. And I just hate that the performance in that 9th round is overshadowing all of the great work that Tyson Fury did in this fight. Rounds 4, 5, and 6 in the first half of round 7, it was looking like we could start counting it off until Fury's gonna drop Usyk off. Seriously. After round 6 and then the first half of round 7, I was thinking, okay, hey man, we get around round 9 and 10, and Tyson be ready to drop Usyk on off, close the show. And then of course Usyk rallies the second half of 7. He comes out, has a very good 8, and then he peaks at round 9. And I think that's another thing, the difference in this fight as well. Fury peaked a little early. Fury peaked a little early. Fury peaked in round 6 for me. Whereas, Fury peaked in round 6, but Usyk peaked in round 9. And so it was later in the fight. And then, like I said, there's 3 more rounds of punishment that the body is taking. And so now the damage in round 9 it's just weighted heavier. It's a weighted scale. The deeper we get into the fight, the damage is there's damage multipliers. And so for him, man, like I say, he peaked at the better in the more timely fashion as far as his absolute most dominant round being in round 9 versus Tyson Fury's in round 6. But no, that's definitely how I saw that fight. Richard, man, where you at? Where's your final score, Richard? Hold on. Oh, and matter of fact, man, hey, Richard, I'm going to look back and see if, in case I missed the score you gave me, man. But while I'm doing that, y'all see what Day One Game Jarrell said, man. Y'all make sure y'all hit the like button for your dog, man. Hit that like button for your dog. Y'all know I appreciate our support, man. I love getting in here and talking this boxing as well. Oh, hold on. I know it ain't who I think. Hey, man, Derek, man, what's up, man? What's up? He said, Fury don't have that fire anymore. He's been paid. He's made his money. I don't see the dog in him as he had when he was battling Wilder. Man, I don't know, bro. I don't know, dog. We just went through like round by round, man, breaking it down. But dog, I can't say that, man. He came in lean, trim, motivated, the best shape he's been in a decade. And rounds 4, 5, and 6 in the first half of round 7, I think he was in firm control of the fight. His defense and head movement in the middle, in the early to mid parts of the fight was top tier. Or that's how I felt. His head movement, Tyson Fury and Canelo Alvarez, in my opinion, have the best just defensive head movement in boxing. And I'm talking about like Shakur Stevenson is that's Pernell Whitaker all day long, man. I don't know how y'all feel about that, and I don't know if y'all remember Sweet Pea like that. But Shakur Stevenson is our Pernell Whitaker. Like, he's ultra twitchy, he's ultra quick, but he isn't able to necessarily slip and move like that necessarily in the pocket. When I talk about head movement, I'm talking about like Canelo and Tyson Fury both being in the pocket. You know what I'm saying? In range, and just you can't find them. You can't find them, man. Right there in range in a corner, doesn't matter. You right in my grill, I can smell your breath and you can't touch me. Like, he has special head movement like that, dog. In some of them like that mid, like the second quarter of the fight, let's say. You know what I mean? So like rounds 4, 5, and 6, I think 6 was his best round of the night. He had phenomenal head movement, bro. And this is another thing as well. Like, he didn't drop Usyk in that fight. He hurt him in round 6. If y'all remember, he hurt him in round 6. But Usyk suffered a broken jaw in that fight. He had to go to the hospital for a broken jaw. So Tyson was still throwing some leather now. You know what I mean? I think Tyson was definitely throwing leather. I'm not even gonna say he got tired. I don't even necessarily think he got tired. I think he got caught being lackadaisical in that round 9. And man, I think maybe he thought Usyk was gonna throw one shot and Usyk threw 2. Because he threw it right when he was backing up, when Usyk was backing him up against the ropes, and he threw it right, and you know, Tyson's leaning back. He kind of rolls, or I guess I should turn this way. He kind of rolls with it a little bit. You know what I mean? It kind of it's almost more so glancing. But then Usyk followed it right back up and threw a left, and that one caught him right on the button. And that one knocked him he fell 2 steps back into the ropes, and that's what started that ass whooping in round 9. He threw one more shot that Tyson was expecting. But like I said, Tyson, his hands were low, and he just tried to lean back. You know what I mean? And man, hey, he got caught. But we see that happen a lot, though. That's what happened with the first Devin Haney knockdown in the Ryan Garcia fight. Hands down and just leaning back. That's what happened in the first round of Keith Thurman versus Manny Pacquiao. Because Keith Thurman, we forget, Keith Thurman was winning round 1 convincingly. It was a very good performance in round 1 for Keith Thurman. And then he's backing up. He leaves his hands down. He leans back. Manny lunges with that left and catches him on the button, and he goes down. And then Keith Thurman had to chase that knockdown the whole rest of that fight. That was still a very competitive fight. We don't remember how competitive that fight actually was for Keith Thurman and Manny Pacquiao, but that was a very competitive fight. That was a very good fight for Keith Thurman. But that knockdown really did it, and it was because he just got caught leaning back. And so that's losing, taking your eye off the ball, losing your technique, whatever it is. But I think that's what really did it. And then kudos to Usyk for real, bro. Because once there was blood in the water, man, hey, he attacked, man. He attacked and went for blood for sure. But now, hey Derek, man, hey, it's good to hear from you, bro. Hey, matter of fact, if you're still in here before you get out, who would you have winning the fight though? Or well, how did you score it? I actually had to fight 114, 113 for Fury. Like when we just round for round, I had it 114, 113 for Fury. But like I said, I'm not mad about the decision at all because I honestly think that fight could have been stopped in round 9. I think there was enough damage done, and especially watching Fury fall into the ropes on 3 of the 4 corners of that ring, I think you could have stopped that fight. So I'm not mad about the Usyk fight or the Usyk decision at all. But if you scored it, let me know. Let me know how you scored it, man. Let me know how you scored it. Oh, man, that's what I was looking for, man. Let me see if Richard dropped me a score in here. Let me see. I think because Richard had dropped me some scores earlier. Where you at? Let me see. Hold on. I'm looking for it, Richard. I know I seen you some scores you had dropped. Okay, here we go. Here's the final kind of rounds that he scored it. Let's see here. Richard had round 10. He had it a 10-9 fight for Usyk. See, I thought Usyk took his foot off the pedal in 10, and I thought Fury, I thought he essentially kind of conceded that one so I gave 10 to Fury. 11, he gave to Usyk. Yeah, that was a swing round for me, but I did give it to Usyk as well, so I'm not mad about that. And then 12, he gave it to Fury. So okay, we closed it out. And then man, Richard, man, I'm not sure if you're still active in the chat, man, but if what was the final tally on those, man? I know you gave me all your scores round by round, man, but I can't go back and add them all up. But I wonder what your final tally was. Yeah, he had round 9 as a 10-8 like I did as well. I wonder what your final tally would have been. But no, this was a tremendous fight, man. And so definitely a tremendous fight. Now here's a little bit of news as well. And this is one of the problems with boxing, okay? So they have a rematch clause in this fight. The rematch, and I think they already even had a time frame. The rematch is supposed to take place, assuming everybody's healthy or whatever the case, but the rematch for this fight is supposed to take place in October. I want to say it was agreed to before the fight, and so it's in the book. Neither one of those guys could fight anybody else. Well, the IBF is stripping Alexander Usyk of the IBF title, and they're gonna have a fight between Daniel Dubois and this guy, I can't say his name, like hers long, something like that. Whatever, man, I can't even say Buddy's name. But they're gonna have their matchup be for the IBF title. I was gonna say interim, but that wouldn't make sense because they are stripping it from Usyk, and so he's gonna lose the IBF title. A decision by the IBF. They're gonna elevate the winner of the Daniel Dubois fight, and so now when the rematch, assuming the rematch still happens in October between Fury and Usyk, now it's not even them fully running it back because that was an undisputed lineal championship fight. Well, now without the IBF, with the IBF taking their belt back, well, now it's just going to be a unified fight. So it's not even all the marbles aren't on the table. That is just ridiculous. That's damn ridiculous. You know what I'm saying? And so I hate that, man. That's just the politics of boxing that ruined the sport, and that's the shit that pisses everybody off. Not even just me. You know what I'm saying? Like, don't get in the way of greatness. It's hard enough to get these guys to fight each other. You know what I'm saying? It's hard enough to get. How long we been waiting to see AJ versus Fury? How long did we wait to see AJ versus Wilder? We still ain't seen either one of them fights because of the politics of boxing. So now when we get guys at the top, we finally got Wilder Fury. You know what I'm saying? We finally now get Usyk Fury. You know what I mean? So like we finally start getting these matchups that we as boxing fans in the boxing community that we want. And then you do some shit like take away the IBF belt for Daniel Dubois and the dude I can't even, the Thor looking dude, I can't even say his name, to get that. Like, what are y'all doing? Like, it's just ridiculous, man. It's the same thing that happened. Now, this one for a different reason, and Bud Crawford was already moving up to 154 anyway, but the IBF took away, was it also the IBF? I want to say, yeah, the IBF also took away Bud Crawford's belt when he won Undisputed against Earl Spence, and they gave it to Boots Ennis. But the thing about that was, Earl and Crawford also had a rematch clause to run it back. Now, there's been a lot of bad press or publicity, or people are misinformed. Honestly, what I think it is because people think that Bud didn't want to give him that fight or whatever. No, Earl ended up turning down that fight. At first, he activated that clause. Then he waited. He went and had surgery. And then in the end, though, Earl conceded that rematch. So it wasn't a Bud decision. Earl, in the end, actually conceded that rematch, but he did so after 9 months. And honestly, it was probably some brain power from the PBC that they just keeping Bud on the bench. You know what I mean? Not letting him capitalize on all the momentum he got from whooping Earl Spence ass, because that was an ass whooping, boy. But anywho, I just hate the politics of boxing and how that happens. What Derek say? Man, he said he still got to run for any cruiserweight who wants some work. Hey, I don't doubt it, boy. Hey, I don't doubt it at all, man. I don't doubt it at all. He said he still got something for you, boy. He still got something for you. But I don't doubt it at all. But I hate that if and when this rematch happens, that it's not going to be for Undisputed, because now that's not fair to Tyson Fury. You know what I mean? Because we running this back, let's run it back. And so now we'll have an inconsequential champion in Daniel Dubois. I'm assuming I'm gonna end up taking Daniel Dubois in the fight. I can't even say the other guy's name. So let's say Daniel Dubois now is the IBF champion, who nobody gives a shit about. Now you just ruined, you know what I'm saying, this rematch for Undisputed or whatever the case. But it is what it is. But nah, man. I just I hate the politics of boxing when it works out like that. And so, man, hey, I appreciate y'all for sure, man. Matter of fact, I was gonna do a little talk about pound for pound rankings with some of these. We've seen some very good fights here lately. Some big name fighters have fought. So we just saw Alexander Usyk and Tyson Fury. We just saw Monster Anyway. We just saw Canelo Alvarez and Jaime Munguia. We've seen some of these big name fighters get in the ring. We saw Ryan Garcia and Devin Haney. And so there's been some of these guys that have gave us more fights to consider. And so I haven't tweaked or went back and went over like a pound for pound in a while. And so I was thinking, okay, with so many of these big names kind of getting back in the ring, I was like, it might be good to kind of go back through and kind of jot some names down here really quickly. And I did it. And so we're at an hour and 48 minutes. Still got about a dozen of y'all in here rocking with your dog. So let's go ahead and chop it up, man. We'll end this one. We'll probably get to right around 2 hours tonight, and we'll go ahead and close this one out with a quick little pound for pound. Like I said, I really just put this list together, 20 minutes before I went live. Once I just got to thinking about it, but let me get my handy dandy list and tell y'all what I put together. So now for me, I'm a little traditional. All right, I generally don't include heavyweights in my pound for pound ranking because it defeats the purpose of having a pound for pound ranking if we include heavyweights. You know what I mean? So like that's not the purpose of the pound for pound ranking. The pound for pound ranking is like outside of these big guys, the heavyweight champion of the world in most times he's the guy at the top of the mountain. He is. He's the biggest, he's the baddest. And so Sugar Ray Robinson, who was the inspiration for a pound for pound list, probably the overall GOAT, in my opinion. Now, of course, I wasn't live in the 50s to see him getting down or doing his work, but I like to think of myself as a junior historian. I love going back, watching the old fights and doing my Googles and going back, looking at some of these old fighters. And so based on his career, he had it all, man. He had the charisma of Muhammad Ali. He was a guy who was an inspiration for Muhammad Ali. So we just hadn't seen that type of personality or charisma as a heavyweight. And he took it up a notch for sure. But Sugar Ray Robinson, man, was definitely a charismatic guy, handsome guy. He had, just great athleticism, speed, and power. You know what I mean? And so, but anyway, so I generally don't include heavyweights on my pound for pound list. I want to get that out there. I'm going to say it. That's the fourth time I've said it because I'm not going to have Tyson Fury. I'm not going to have Deontay Wilder. I'm not going to have Anthony Joshua. I'm not going to have Big Bang Zhang. I'm not going to have Joseph Parker. I'm not going to have any heavyweights on this list. Now, my top 10 pound for pound, I did actually list 11 guys. And the reason why is because now Alexander Usyk is the undisputed lineal heavyweight champion of the world. And so in any fight, between him and anybody. I love Bud Crawford. Bud Crawford's my favorite fighter. Currently for several years now, but still, if it's all said and done, I don't think there's a fighter better than Alexander Usyk at this point in time. But he's a heavyweight. He's the undisputed lineal heavyweight champion. So normally that would exclude him from my list. Now, the thing that makes Usyk different for me is, well, he came up from cruiserweight. He was the undisputed cruiserweight champion before now becoming the undisputed heavyweight champion. And most popular, most popular sports pundits or sports pages or channels or whatever, they list heavyweights in their pound for pound listing now. And so maybe I'm just being old school or old fashioned or antiquated and not doing so. Now I'm not going to go crazy and add all of them. I'm going to make a concession and say, okay, if I have to include a heavyweight, I'll put Usyk in there because before becoming undisputed heavyweight champion, he was undisputed cruiserweight champion, pound for pound, multiple weight classes that he was able to solidify and dominate. I'll give him that. So he's the guy at the top of the mountain. He would be my number one. Matter of fact, I'm gonna try to write it out so I don't lose track myself. Okay. And number two for me, number two or number one, you know what I mean, depending on how you want to look at it. And it's been this way for the last probably for me, it's been this way. I think the last 2 years, 2 or even 3 years, between Bud Crawford and Monster Inoue. And so Monster Inoue he's a special fighter. He definitely is. He is, he's the Tank Davis of his class. He's the Mike Tyson of his class. He's got explosive knockout power. He's got great movement. He's got great foot movement and he fights with great angles, reminiscent of. He gives me a little bit of Manny Pacquiao. I think as far as just he's like a bee. He's just a bee. He's always moving. He's always bouncing, and he throws heavy shots with intentions. But I don't think he's necessarily as defensively responsible as Bud Crawford. And honestly, even in his last fight, this last Monster Inoue fight, which was a tremendous performance, he got touched and got dropped. I think it's the first time he's been down, but he got dropped in this one. You know what I mean? Now, I don't think it was anything of consequence because he got up and then gave that boy the blues. But I don't think he's as defensively responsible as Bud Crawford. And like I said, Bud for me is probably the best finisher in the business. Number two for me, or number one, whatever for me, is going to be Bud Crawford. Then, of course, I'll have Monster Inoue. And then now 4 for me, this is where I think most lists that I've seen or saw, they generally have Canelo here. But I don't like Canelo here because the order that I see a lot of the times, I see Canelo, Beterbiev, and Bivol. Well, I don't think that makes sense to me because for one, I've seen Bivol completely dominate Canelo. I don't want to call Canelo a better pound for pound. And pound for pound imbues that, okay, well, up and down weight classes. Well, Canelo Alvarez fights at 168, right? And Bivol fights at 175 and completely dominated him at 175. But the way he beat Canelo at 75, size wasn't the issue. He outclassed him. He flat out outclassed Canelo. So if Bivol is at 168 and he fights Canelo, I don't see why that fight's any different. I don't see why that fight's different. So I think he's better than Canelo at 68. I think he's better than him. He's clearly better than him at 75. And when I think about Canelo and guys that realistically, maybe I would say have a chance. Well, everybody has a chance for sure, but realistically, guys that I can see beating Canelo, I mean, I think there's only 3 or 4 guys in the sport of boxing that that realistically maybe beat Canelo within reason. So of course, I'm leaving out Usyk, of course, and that's why he's the guy. He's a cut above. That's why I always leave the heavyweight title because you can't even go there. But so for me, and also for me, when I look at this, is you keep everything about you stays the same instead of your weight because the boxing is divided by weight. It's not divided by anything else. So if a guy's 6'2" and he has a 77-inch arm reach, well, if in my hypotheticals, if I'm comparing him to a guy who's 147, well, he doesn't have to shrink to 5'9" to fight this guy. No, He weighs 147 pounds now, but he still has those. Anyway, I'm taking the bigger guy. I've got Dimitri Bivol at my number 4 spot. Now, also, here is where I have, then at 5, I do have Canelo. And so Canelo, I hate that I don't care. And it's hard to call a guy a duck or to say he's ducking or running because Canelo Alvarez, unquestionably, I don't think it can be disputed. He has the best resume in boxing. He's got names on his record. He's got names on his list that just nobody else has from top to bottom. So it's hard to say he's ducking some guy, but he's running from David Benavidez. I don't care what you say, man. I don't care what you say. He's running from David Benavidez, and he has been for a while. And the only reason he's undisputed at 168 because David Benavidez was, I want to say, was the WBC champion at 168. He had his belt stripped for a failed drug test, not PEDs, but a failed drug test. I want to say it was cocaine or that ain't my business. You know what I'm saying? Forgive me. But he had his belt stripped. Or I think it was a drug suspension. It was some style of failed drug test or suspension. But did he also miss weight maybe? David Benavidez lost his belt for circumstances outside of in the ring. Then Canelo came up to 168, fought some B level bums that we don't even know. We can't remember those guys' names today. Unified those belts, and he's been on his Floyd Money Mayweather circuit of just like I said, man, fighting high priced, low risk fights, built just based off his own popularity. So anyway, Canelo at 5, Arthur Beterbiev, I've got at 6. I think Canelo has a better chance against Beterbiev than he does Bivol because I think Bivol's he's slick, he's defensively, he's slick, he's sound. Beterbiev for me is a bigger, better Triple G, but I think Canelo's more equipped to handle or deal with that than he is with the movement and outside boxing ability and defensive responsiveness than Bivol. So I've got Bivol 4, Canelo 5, Beterbiev 7. Or 6. Excuse me, 7. 7 for me. And this is a guy as well where you cannot deny his talent, but I need him. I'm still waiting. I'm still waiting to see a name that makes me feel good about him. But Tank Davis is where I've got number 7. I think he's at 135 now. He hasn't fought these guys. He didn't fight Devin Haney. He fought Ryan Garcia under, not auspicious. That's not the right word because, rehydration clauses aren't unheard of. But he didn't. Man, he almost punked out. I don't care what he says, man. You know what I'm saying? And I hate that now when they're talking about a rematch, Tank is talking like, oh, yeah, no, man, we can fight it. Man, we ain't got to do no right. We can fight at 140. We can fight at 143. Or no, we can fight at 140 for sure. And you talk like you ain't worried about it. Well, then why didn't you fight him at 140 the first time? Why'd you make him get down to 136? You know what I'm saying? And so even that fight for me doesn't do as much for me, honestly, because of the tremendous disadvantage he put Ryan Garcia at. Now, Ryan Garcia is a grown man. You know what I'm saying? He took the money. He did what he had to do. And he went into that fight injured and severely severely drained for the weight. But it is what it is. But Tank Davis is still a phenomenal fighter for sure. He's at number 7 for me. Now, number 8 for me. And I don't see, he was on my last pound for pound rating that I probably did, or one that I made public. I probably haven't made a pound for pound list public in probably 2 years. But David Benavidez for me is number 8 because David Benavidez for me, I think he's a guy that I'm glad he's finally leaving 168. Go ahead and go to 175, make a name there. He should win a title here coming up on the Tank Davis and Frank Martin undercard that's coming up here pretty soon this summer. So he should be a champion or maybe an interim champion at 75. But I think he's going to do well there as well. I can't wait to see him mix it up with Bivol and Beterbiev in these guys at the top of 75, and so I think he's a problem for most anybody. Man, he's tall, he's got good hand speed, he's got very good power. Man, I really like that Caleb Plant fight. Really able to impose his size and impose his will and just kind of walk through Caleb Plant and really just start dishing out real punishment in that fight. So David Benavidez for me, I got him number 8. Now, number 9, is where I have Shakur Stevenson. Now, here's the thing about Shakur for me. I have been a huge Shakur Stevenson fan for a while. I was putting Shakur Stevenson on my pound for pound rankings, I think earlier than anybody else I had seen or talked to when I'm talking boxing. And so I love his talent defensively. I like his speed. I really liked his aggressiveness that he had started to show as he was coming up the ranks at 130 before he got to 135. I hate that last performance he had against Edwin De Los Santos. I know he said he was injured, and he was. I don't think he's lying about it. I know he was injured, but still just a terrible performance. But pound for pound, I think he's a fighter. He's super slick, super twitchy. He's just a guy. He's super hard to reach. He doesn't have tremendous or great power, but he's a guy that epitomizes the term "hit and don't get hit." And so he's going to give anybody across from him hell for sure. I wish he'd have took that Devin Haney fight. I feel like that was a bad move. You can't turn down that Devin Haney fight, have Frank Martin fight fall through, and then give us the performance that you gave us against Edwin De Los Santos. And I say this as a fan. I'm still a fan. You know what I'm saying? For sure. Because he was the guy that I had picked of all the guys that I think were going to be a tough matchup for Tank Davis as far as those four kings, those guys, Tank Davis, Devin Haney, Ryan Garcia, with Teofimo Lopez is in there, those five guys. And then I included Shakur Stevenson in that. I thought Shakur would be the guy that would probably be the toughest fight for Tank because of just how athletic and how quick and slippery he is. And that Tank, who does, starts relatively slow. He's not a overly volume style of puncher, and so I think that Shakur could be a fight that I could see Shakur winning, assuming it goes to cards. I think he's slick enough to not necessarily get caught or put himself in position to be countered and KO like Tank is known to do. 10 for me, and I'm gonna help it get out of here. 10 for me. Some of these smaller guys, man. Nakatani, Japanese. Is he the bantamweight? One of the bantamweight champions. And then 11 for me. I named 11 because Alexander Usyk for me is kind of with an asterisk. You know what I'm saying? As far as him being a heavyweight and being included. So that's why I listed 11. But Bam Rodriguez at 11, another smaller weight guy. See flyweight or flyweight or bantamweight, or maybe Nakatani's a flyweight. But those are lower weight class champions. But definitely very talented fighters, undefeated fighters, both of them. I think both of them are southpaws as well. And so that would be my pound for pound ranking. All right. Number one, kind of with an asterisk. Like I listed 11 because I included Alexander Usyk. Number one, Usyk. 2, Bud Crawford. 3, Monster Inoue. 4, Dimitri Bivol. 5, Canelo Alvarez. 6, Arthur Beterbiev. 7, Tank Davis. 8, David Benavidez. 9, Shakur Stevenson. 10, Junto Nakatani. And 11, Bam Rodriguez. And so that's, if I had to give a top 10, that's what I would, my pound for pound list. I'm going to list 11 if I include Usyk as a heavyweight, like I said, as an asterisk for me. But like I said, he was undisputed in 2 classes, man, including his work at cruiserweight. And so I'll go ahead and give him some love here. And it's more fun to have some of the heavyweights on there, man. The list is more fun when we can include Usyk. And so there you have it. There you have it. So RBT family, look, I appreciate y'all. This is a very fun, and exciting video for me. I love talking boxing. Football and boxing are definitely my 2 favorite sports. Initially, my intention for this channel was to focus more so primarily on football, but I warned you guys at the outset that I'm gonna have to sneak some boxing in here as well. Like I said, I really do love boxing. I've got my final score for the Usyk Fury fight posted again, just in case anybody didn't see it. And so I think the fight could have been stopped via TKO victory for Usyk in the 9th, but it went all 12 rounds. The way I had it out, the way I scored it out, I had Fury still winning a razor thin decision, 114-113, 114-113. But I'm not mad about Usyk being declared champion, although I hate the IBF for stripping him of that title and denying us that rematch for Undisputed in October when that fight comes back around. But other than that, it's the end of the night. It's 9:30 on a Monday night. I appreciate y'all, man. Y'all know I love y'all. Love all the support. Matter of fact, man, we're going to do it old school, man. We're going we gonna do a rundown real quick, man. All those members that stop by hollering at your dog, man. Shout out to the fam bam was in the building, little sisters in here. Appreciate you as always. My dog, man, day one, man. My homeboy, low dog, Lamont was in this thing, man. My other day one partner, man, the crib, man. What's happening? My dog feed, man. Jerome Scott, appreciate your homeboy. Another day one guy from the crib, man. My dog K Rock Keandre, man. Good to see you. Day one game. Jarrell in this thing as always, man. My dog, my brother, my partner, Chop. Jeremy Boyce is in the building for your dog, man. Man, some of y'all, some new faces popped up today, man. Some new faces or names that maybe I hadn't noticed yet before. John Travis, man, you gave me an excellent breakdown of Alexander Usyk, man. I would love to see you break down your thoughts on Tyson Fury as a fighter as well. But hey, Rocco, man, I hope you enjoyed yourself for sure. Appreciate your homeboy, man. Richard Hamilton, man. Richard Hamilton, another guy, man, very active in the chat, man. Another name that I hadn't recognized just yet. So I appreciate your contributions to the chat, bro. Man, you were definitely very active and engaged, man. I appreciate that, homeboy. Come back, man, and chop it up with your dog. Man, few more, y'all, man. I'm searching for you. Oh, man, I can't forget my dog, man. My old teammate, man. They know what's going on. My dog, Derek Williams, man. Still say he got some work for any cruiserweights who's still out there, man. Might need to get some work in. And so y'all know I appreciate all the love and support, man. And we're gonna do it old school, man. Day one game, Jarrell know what's going on, man. Y'all can say it with me at home. Some of y'all might not know, so we can start this here now, man. All right. If I forgot to say your name, damn, my bad. But charge it to my head. Don't charge it to my heart. You know we thinking about you. You know I appreciate all the love and support. Just like my dog day one game Jarrell said, man. Appreciate y'all. I appreciate y'all as always, man. Hit that. Do me a favor, man. If you're still in the building and you haven't done it yet, hit that like button. Hit that subscribe button. If you're feeling frisky, man, go ahead hit that follow button as well. Check me out on Twitter. I'm pretty active on there, man. So I'm talking football. I'm talking boxing all day long on Twitter or X. Real Ball Talk 247 on Twitter or X, man. Go ahead, tap in with your dog, man. If you're on Facebook, man, you can find me on there as well. And so other than that, until next time, like I said, man, we're in the offseason right now. The NFL offseason is getting kind of slow. There's some big fights coming up. So I'll definitely be back to talk that Tank Davis and Frank Martin fight. I'm thinking about doing live commentaries, man. So maybe going live and talking through these fights while I'm watching them. I'm not going to show the fight. I don't want to get copyrighted and all that stuff, but I may watch it. And then just like I did for the draft, like a watch party that way. So I'm really thinking about doing something like that. If y'all want to just chop it up with your dog, man, and we can watch the fight live together and we can all chat and talk about what we see. So experimenting with that, maybe starting with this Tank Davis Frank Martin fight coming up. We've got some other big matchups as well, man. I can't wait to see Bud Crawford make his debut at 154. Man, he looks damn good. I can't wait to see him there. And Mike Tyson, Jake Paul. There's a lot of stuff going on in boxing here, which is going to help carry me through, man, until the NFL season picks back up here at the end of the summer. I am going to have some NFL content as well. Probably not lives, but just standard content videos as well. Schedule just dropped. And then as we progress into the offseason, man, I'll start breaking down upcoming season outlooks and all this and that. So there's more to come for sure. Appreciate the love and support as always. Without further ado, I will holler at y'all next time. Peace. And you know what? You know what? I'm gonna get it out. We gonna run back my outro on the way out as well, man. But hey, y'all peace. Y'all stay tuned and tapped in with your dog, and I will holler at y'all next time.